Why can't you be in a good mood? How hard is it to decide to be in a good mood and then be in a good mood once in a while? I first heard this quote in a Scroobius Pip song, not necessarily my usual music taste, but I do think he's awesome. And the Pip references the character of Lloyd Dobler from a 1989 movie called Say Anything, a character played by John Cusack. Now, it's someone he interacts with whilst on a dream-based journey along the way, which meets several characters who lay some life truths on him. Now, I've always found a lot of Pip's lyrics to be incredibly thought-provoking and somewhat philosophical, but this one actually just about floored me, as it's something I'd always had a rather guilty view of myself. I always felt kind of guilty believing that people could just choose to be happy. I know that we live in a world just now where mental health issues have reached almost epidemic level. I understand for a lot of people it isn't necessarily a choice, but I guess my argument isn't for overall life happiness, but maybe isolated incidents. Now, Scroobius Pip had this album out called Angles, released in 2008, featuring Dan Lassac, and it instantly had a huge impact on me. It deals with some major issues in our lives, such as our perception of others, our personal philosophies, and even things like suicide. His work is probably often categorised as British rap, but for me it's more like spoken word or poetry to a beat. Quite often he is literally just speaking, but it's the words and the power behind them. Like, let me give you another quote. Years ago, my mother used to say to me, she'd say, "In this world, Elwood, you must be oh so smart or oh so pleasant." Well, for years I was smart. I recommend pleasant. You may quote me. So I did. Now, the first character Pip meets is Elwood P. Dowd from a 1950 movie called Harvey, played by James Stewart. The great thing about Pip's track is that he manages to merge the movie quote into his lyrics as if they were own, in fact, sometimes even build upon them. He says, "In this life you can be oh so smart or oh so pleasant. For years I was smart. I recommend pleasant. Being smart can make you rich and bring respect and reverence, but the rewards of being pleasant are far more incandescent." I can't think of too many rappers who deal with the issue of what makes you happy in life beyond bling and other things that probably require asterisks as well. I am a firm believer though that the world needs to get nicer before it gets any smarter or any richer. We've managed to make tremendous advancements in science, medicine, engineering, technology and many other fields, but we're yet to come up with a plan for peace. Perhaps a shift in perception and focus can literally save lives. Now, after this, Pip even offers some advice on how to choose your mood and be more pleasant. He does this not through quoting a movie character, but this time another stranger called Billy Brown, who's made up, to be totally honest, who paraphrases some of Scroobius Pip's work from another song. If you can't forgive and forget, how's this? Forget, forgiven, and just accept that that's it. See, that's how it's got to be. Then you can fall in love, get on with your life, and be free. Quite often in life, we're guilty of allowing moments from our past sit inside us and rot away. And this does nothing good for us. It just prevents us from repairing relationships with those that we've had trouble with, and also creating a more belligerent version of ourselves, and creating more and more rifts in our lives. The last word, free, seems ambitious, maybe even somewhat fanciful, but truth be told, that is exactly what would happen. It's exactly what would be. We would be free from resent. And there's a verse where your new favourite rapper, Scroobius Pip, has his last interaction. This time, a gentleman named Walter Neff attempts to take the wind out of our sails a little bit. Now, riding high on the epiphanic journey throughout the song, Neff, who is a murdering insurance salesman from Double Indemnity in 1944, suggests that no matter the nature of the man or woman on this planet, there is some evil within us. Whether it be greed, lust, or just plain vindictiveness, there's a level of malevolence inside of all of us. Now, it took a few times listening and reading to that quote, but I think the way that this is twisted towards the end is that whilst it is great to ride the crest of this positive wave, it is important that we stay on board long term. The choice to be happy, pleasant and forgiving is for life. We continue to be defined by our actions until our last breath. We need to make sure that we continue to be what Neff is not. Now, the scene and sound of Pip's music is very unbefitting of the poetic yarns that he weaves. The truth is that I could recommend any number of his songs with some sort of significant message within them, but I've always felt a special resonance with the teachings of waiting for the beat to kick in. My original intention with this blog was to discuss the psychology and philosophy behind choosing your mood, but I couldn't help but head down this road of some sort of life philosophy, song review hybrid. So what better way to finish off the vlog here with the continuation of the first quote that I referenced. That's all I have to say, because it's a straight up fact. You control your emotions. It's as simple as that. If any of you have any interest in the movies or the music referenced in this vlog here, the movies are Double Indemnity from 1944, Harvey from 1950 and Say Anything from 1989. The song is called Waiting for the Beat to Kick In from Scroobius Pip versus Dan Lassac from an album called Angles.